Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity. I was just telling Diane how pleased I am to see this side of the room fill up before this side of the room. Power to the people on the left side of the room. That's your left, right? That always confuses me. So welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone online. If I haven't met you yet, good chance I haven't met you if you're online. Yay, grateful. I'm Kitty Benson. I'm the minister here at Unity. This is Highest Good, a partial Highest Good here today, saying thank you for their loving music that they bring, to all our volunteers, to our tech team back there. We got Parker and Susan and Cindy. Thank you. Still looking for volunteers, so if that is speaking to you, let us know. And one of the ways that we like to get started in our service is with... What are we singing today?
Centered in the peace of God.
Centered in the peace of God, which is going to fit right in with what we're talking about, as usual. So let's be centered. You want to stand as you're able or sit and sing, whatever feels good to you.
Good morning, everyone. Let's sing together. Well, up and down, spinning around, seems things are changing almost every day. Up and down, spinning around, but I found balance, I found my way, centered in the peace of God, centered in the peace of God. Let's sing that verse again. Well, up and down, spinning around, seems things are changing almost every day. Up and down, spinning around, but I found balance, I found my way, centered in the peace of God, centered in the peace of God. There is clarity, there is clarity, there is wisdom, there is abundant grace, centered in the peace of God. Centered in the peace of God. Up and down, spinning around, seems things are changing almost every day. Up and down, spinning around, but I found balance, I found my way, centered in the peace of God, centered in the peace of God. There is clarity, there is wisdom, there is abundant grace, centered in the peace of God. Yes, centered in the peace of God. There is clarity, there is clarity, there is wisdom, there is abundant grace, centered in the peace of God. Here we stand, centered in the peace of God. Here we remain, centered in the peace of God. Yes, we are centered in the peace of God. Yes. Yes. How does that feel? It feels centered, doesn't it? You know, the song starts with I'm reaching out. But we're reaching out for what is already here, yes? I love that. I'm reaching out to feel the infinite. I'm reaching out to know the divine. I'm reaching out to feel the infinite. Yeah, forever is already mine. Let's sing that verse again. I'm reaching out to feel the infinite. I'm reaching out to know the divine. I'm reaching out
Will you join me in prayer, please? Loving Spirit, the presence that fills heaven and earth, our hearts are open to this divine presence today of love and light, allowing that love and light to flow through us. As we think of those on this Memorial Day weekend that have passed before us, devoting their life to the divine idea of freedom, we give thanks and we send love, trusting that the ultimate freedom, the reality of freedom, is who and what they are in this moment, and reminding us that so are we. We allow that freedom to flow freely through each of us, this moment and every moment. So it is, now we let it be. Amen. And will you help me speak our invocation? It's what we say here every week to help us remember the truth. Together, there's only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Thank you. You may be seated.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only when I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside, quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love.
I agree with that. Every once in a blue moon, I say, can you hear me okay? Okay, just feels a little bit quiet to me. Can you bring me up in the room a little bit, Parker? Thank you. And I won't yell at you. Okay, good. So once in a while when people ask me what unity is, I rarely use the word that I'm going to use today. It's a big word. And it's certainly an unfamiliar word if anyone has come out of the traditional Christian format. I don't think I ever heard it spoken growing up, going to my traditional Christian church. As a matter of fact, if you were part of the Baptists or the Presbyterians or the Methodists or the Catholics, did you ever hear anybody use the word metaphysics on a Sunday morning? Say that again. That word is scary to some people. Isn't that interesting? Well, hopefully after today it won't be so scary. And if you're here for the first time or you just bumped into Unity for the first time, strap in because, we're going to go through some metaphysics today. I promise you won't come out harmed in any way. Hopefully your consciousness will be revealing a lot of new things for you that will support you. What is metaphysics? Let me start by sharing what it says in one of our textbooks. Up here on the screen, this is from Heart-Centered Metaphysics, a study of the ultimate reality beyond the physical realm, which asks questions, what is the nature of being? Ever asked that question, why do I exist? I think that's a good question. What's the nature of being, of the spiritual universe? In Unity, we studied the realities. Notice reality has a capital R, which means it's of God, okay? So we study the realities that are true with a capital T of God concerning the inner life of every human being, the inner life. We ask such questions as what is the nature of God and humankind, and what's the relationship between the two? So that's kind of the nature, the absolute reality of metaphysics. But to me, what's more important is the applied metaphysics. Now that we know these truths about these big questions, how do we apply them in our life? And that's what we're going to be talking about for the next few weeks. I kind of think of this as obviously we're never going to get into the fullness of God in our ability to understand while we're here in this body. But to me, I like to think of it as, exploring the operations manual of the mind of God. Doesn't that sound like fun? I mean, that's why I'm a Unity minister, because to me that sounds like fun. Just looking into the depths of the mind of God. And if you're here today and you're struggling in life in some way, or you ever have struggled in life in some way, or if you ever will struggle in life in some way, actually, I hope you'll see by the time we're done that metaphysics is going to help you with those struggles. And if you're having a good day or a good year, this is going to show you why. What's working in the background as to why things are going well. So I'm going to draw on a book called Lessons in Truth. Up here on the screen, let's take a look at Emily Cady. She was a gal who was born just 3 years after Myrtle Fillmore, who was one of our co-founders of Unity. But she was over on the East Coast in New York, and the Fillmores were now at Unity Village outside of Kansas City when they started having contact. The Fillmores were sending out mailings with publishings about metaphysics, and she happened to get a copy somehow and realized, hey, I'm writing about the same stuff. And so she sent them a pamphlet that she had written, and they're like, ooh, she's got this really well explained. So they asked her to start writing lessons and posting them once a month in their monthly magazine, Unity Magazine. And when she said, okay, I think I'm done, they put them together in a book, Lessons in Truth. And it was really the first published book, kind of our Unity primer about metaphysics, that came out in 1903. And since then, we've sold 1.6 million copies of that book. Now, if you want it for free, it's posted online at truthunity.net. Truthunity.net, where all the Unity classics are available for free. And you can also order, if you like hard copy, where I mark mine up in a million different ways. You can go to unity.org and shop for it. So this week, we're going to take a look at what she talks about as what is the nature of God, and what is the nature of humankind, and why does this matter? Just little teeny tiny topics, right? Subject, topic, comes out topics in my mouth. All right, so yeah. What is God? again, we're not going to get to the end of that, a full understanding or explanation of that before we're done. But I'm sure going to give it a try. And one of the things that Emily Cady wrote about this up here on the screen, she said, God is spirit, or the creative energy that is the cause of all visible things. The invisible life and intelligence underlying all physical things. There could be no body or visible part to anything unless there were first spirit as creative cause. And I think there was a prophet, Jeremiah, way back before Emily Cady, that said the same thing when he said, "Do I not fill heaven and earth, declares the Lord." Fill heaven and earth. That's what we think of as spirit, that which fills heaven and earth everywhere present. We use this word, God is spirit, not a spirit, but spirit. It's the one thing that Jesus said God is in the scriptures, which is kind of interesting when you think about it. In the Gospels, where he's doing some talking, as people wrote them many decades after his life, who knows what he really said, but take a breath there, take a breath. God is spirit. So when we think of it, we think of the omnipresence, all presence of God. And it's that presence that we sense if we're open to it. And its nature is absolute good. We can never be separate from it. There's no place we can go, including hell, where God is not. So maybe there is no hell. From Unity's perspective, we don't see that as a literal place. As a matter of fact, we agree, and I think we came up with this before him, but Pope John Paul II said that hell is not a physical place, but the state of those who freely and definitively separate themselves from God. And I would say the way that we separate ourselves from God, we can't do it physically, spiritually, we do it in consciousness. We believe we're separate from God. That can be a hellish experience. How many times have you gone through major tragedy or problems in your life where you feel like you're in hell? So the Spirit's everywhere present, but a lot of times we're not aware of it, so it can feel like we're separate from God. So that's one of the ways we describe God. God is spirit. We secondly describe God as intelligence, which the omni word for that is omniscience, all knowledge, not just a being on a throne, which is the old version of how I learned about God, because God is spirit, but it's spirit with all knowledge. It is the knowledge itself. It is the realm of divine ideas. Another name for God is divine mind. So if you have an issue because of how you grew up with the word God, then just switch to divine mind or creator or source, all the same thing. Divine mind. It's the one intelligence that holds everything within it. And it's actually the intelligence that is thinking us into existence right now. So again, this is Charles Fillmore's point of view. He's our co-founder of Unity. Up here on the screen, he said, the science of truth, which is the study of metaphysics, the science of truth is God thinking out creation. So right now, just think of this one mind thinking out creation. And everything that we experience as creation is first beginning in the mind of God. The science is God thinking out creation. God is omnipresent mind, enfolding and interpenetrating all things. God must be in the universe as everywhere intelligent power, otherwise it would fall to pieces. So I think any good scientist would tell us they don't have an understanding or a proof. They don't have a proof yet of how this universe got started. They have theories, but they can't really explain a lot of it, including the intelligence that is behind this universe. So someday, when they finally figure it out, if ever, they'll see, oh, unity? Yes, okay, we agree with you. God is intelligence. We also think of God as substance. And most of us, when we use that word substance, we think of something tangible. But when we speak of it in Unity, we're speaking of it as an invisible spiritual energy that is omnipresence. So spirit is substance everywhere present. It's an energy that we can't see with our eyes, but it's the real thing with a capital R of God, the real thing that stands under anything visible. So nothing visible could exist without this presence. And Paul understood that in a way when he said it in his letter to Hebrews. He said, what is seen was made from things that are not visible. He got it. So it's this field, now science would call it a unified field. Have you heard that word? Yeah, unified field that everything comes out of. We would say that unified field is the presence of God expressing. It's the energy underneath everything. And what it does is it waits for ideas to be implanted into it, like a seed going into the ground, and think of the earth as the substance that nurtures that seed until it begins to sprout. That's part of the creative process. So I'll get to this later. I'm trying to jump ahead. Slow down, Kitty, slow down. So we think of it as a nurturing field of energy that things come out of. You might think of it as the clay that the potter uses when she's making something beautiful that we can actually see. That is the medium that we use for everything that we create in our life. So God is substance, and we also think of God as power. We start here by saying there's only one power, right, in the universe. That power that is the energy, the activity, the force that allows us to do anything. Think of, the creation of all those planets up there in the sky. There is one power that comes out of. That power is what's making it possible for us to do anything that our heart leads us to. And that one power is also expressing as the life in our bodies. That animating force that gets you out of bed in the morning, that keeps renewing your cells every day. That's a form of power. And it's not a being wielding power. It's the power itself. It's the life itself. So again, Emily Cady said this. She said, God lives within every created thing as the life, the ever-renewed, recreating, upbuilding cause of it. As a matter of fact, first cause, is another name that we have for God. The first cause behind everything that exists. When science asks that question, you say, first cause is God, or whatever name you want to give it. Now, one other thing that we use to describe God, when we think of that force, that power, I think of it as having a nature, and its nature is love. Its nature is goodness. So when we think of God as love, not a loving being that's feeling good towards us one day, and I don't know about you, but the way I was raised was God loves you today, but depending on how you behave tomorrow, not so much. More judgment, right? Or punishment. So that's not where we go with this. We go with love only. And this love I can see as both a power, it's the power of God, the force of God, but it's also a choice we make. It's a perspective that we hold for people in our lives. And that power of love is what we put into action when we think of someone that we care about. Think a minute of someone that you love. And ask yourself, what defines this love that I have for them? Have you ever thought about that? A lot of people say, I don't know how to describe it, I just love them. Why do you love them? I don't know, I just love them, okay? But what is the love that you're holding for them? I often think it's a desire for their good, right? When we love someone, we desire good for them. And when we love someone, we see the good in them, even when they may not be displaying it in their behavior, right? And we're willing to do good for them, right? That's the force of love as well. That's the way it's working in the universe all the time. It only sees you as good, and this force of love desires good for everyone, and this force of love is working for good all the time. That's its nature. And In order for us to experience that love and express that love, we just have to be aware of it and choose it. So it's both a magnetic force that brings our good to us, but it's also a choice and attitude that we take. And when we hold it in consciousness, we allow that force to move through us. So you're starting to get a feel for this. Let's take a look at a list of the qualities that we described of God. God is spirit, intelligence, substance, power, life, love. Just a teeny tiny fraction of how we might describe God. But those are really big subjects. And the question is, how does humankind now relate to that nature of God? This is where, from the traditional Christian point of view, we relate to God through a mediator. That you and I supposedly were born in the nature of sin. That's who we are. Before we even get started saying our first word, we're considered sinful. And that if we don't do something about that, we will not be experiencing God in the afterlife. Is that the story you heard? Okay. And so the solution to that problem in the traditional view is that God sent Jesus as his only son to give his life to basically atone for that sinful nature that everyone is ascribed to having. And metaphysically, we have a totally different point of view here. Metaphysically, we see that we are existing out of God. If you see God as that list of qualities, then humans exist. Let's take a look at how we kind of come out of that presence of God. God is, humans exist. Exist comes out of a couple words. Ex is out of, and sistere is the other word that talks about standing forth. So we stand forth out of God. That's what the human experience is. We're standing forth out of God, and we have the access to all those qualities over here, all those natures of God as we express here. God is expressing as humankind on our good days. And we also have days that aren't so good, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But it begins with, instead of me separate from God, Ed Townley up here on the screen said, our path doesn't take us to God. It's a path God is taking to experience itself. Ed Townley was a Unity minister in Chicago. Some of you might have heard him speak. The path that we're on is God taking, the path that we're on is what God is taking to experience itself. That's a really big topic. That's a really big nut to swallow, I guess, to think that I am God expressing. So you know what? Take what you can and leave the rest until one of your good days, and then you'll hopefully be able to start understanding that a little bit more deeply. So start with the idea that I am spirit. That's my true nature. And I came into this human experience fully the divine expressing as spirit and trying to get the human part of me to go along. So that innermost being of us is the fullness of God. It's all those qualities we talked about. And we're here to awaken to that idea and to allow that presence as spirit to express through us. So the spiritual mind of God is our mind on our good days, and we're here to work with the human mind to get it to listen and to follow along with what the higher consciousness in us is trying to guide us to do. So that there's a couple ways that the spiritual mind works with us, and that's with the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the part that knows I'm sitting in this room and I'm listening to Kitty talk, and I know that I'm here and I know what I'm going to be doing next. And then there's the subconscious mind. So what you experience today is going to go into that memory, and it may go in with a "she is so full of it" idea, or that felt really good, and it's going to go in and it's going to sink into the subconscious. It's going to stay there, and the more that you keep coming back, the more it's going to go in there and stay there. And then the job of the subconscious is to spit it back out. When you're with somebody else, And they're saying, what is unity? You can say, God is spirit, God is, I'm sure you'll get there over time. All right, so what we're trying to do, though, is that subconscious mind, when it gets so filled up with the negative beliefs, the error thoughts in consciousness, then we have a hard time hearing from that true spiritual mind of God within us. And we can probably all relate to that. So the basic process is I come into the body, I start to wake up and think for myself, and I start to watch around me. I watch how my parents behave, and I decide whether that's good or bad. And everything around me, I start to make decisions about what it means, and I plug that into the subconscious, and then I start to live habitually from those beliefs. And if they're filled with a lot of fear and error, then what comes out of us is fear and error. How many of you have a personality? Anybody have a personality here? Okay, all of you should be raising your hands. And I know there's actually a diagnosis of schizophrenia, which feels like multiple personalities, unaware of each other. We actually have multiple personalities, all of us, that come out to play, and we're relatively conscious of them at the time, but they're coming out to play in response to what's happening out here. So that's why on some days we can be hard-edged or cautious or selfish. And on good days, we can be generous and kind and patient. They're all masks that we wear depending on what's going on around us. And that's the personalities that are not the real you. Those come and go, they're temporary. When you leave the body, you will be leaving those behind. They're all based on error thinking, not the real truths of God, but the limitations that this world out here is making us believe in. And since we're unaware most of the time of our true self, of the presence of God within, we hold on to these, we wear these masks, like today I'm going to be a victim because I just can't do that, I'm not good enough to do that, or I don't have enough money to do that, or they don't love me enough to let me do that. Or we put on the bully mask today and force our way through things, maybe even violently, because of what we believe we are. And everything we believe we are is usually coming from our outer experiences, coming through our 5 physical senses. So that's the human path. And that human always, well, not always, but for the most part, the human alone will sin most of the time. Oh, but you said we weren't sinful. You not are sinful in nature. You are an expression of God. But your humanity sins, we talked about this last week, missing the mark. We make mistakes. We aren't tapped into our higher self. Are you following me? Lots to take in today. Go back and listen to the recording of this if you need to. So our work here is to express our authentic self, to get a hold of that human consciousness and that veil within us that's usually separating us from an awareness of God, and flip it around, change it. And what we're really going for, instead of living from personality, is to live from individuality. That's what we call, from the textbook in Unity, we call individuality, which is God expressing as us today, instead of the personality. That's the true self. That's the spiritual consciousness. That's the Christ in you. That's the higher self, whatever you want to call it. Here's what Emily Cady said about this. The more God comes into visibility through a person, the more individualized he becomes. Remember, God is wisdom, intelligence, love, power. The more pronounced the manner in which any of these qualities comes forth into visibility through the humankind, the greater our individuality. It's just lying there waiting for us to let it come through. And she also said there's no limit to the source of our being, nor to his willingness to manifest more of himself through us. Here it is, the only limit is in our knowledge of how to draw from the fountain. How do we reveal the individuality over the personality? Christina's over there shaking her head. That's where we start to think, there's no way. Sounds like time for applied metaphysics. See, there's a method to my mad. Thank you for laughing, one of you. All right. How do we draw from the fountain? the presence of the divine, that big old gigantic omnipresent mind and love and life of God. First of all, we look to Jesus. This is where Jesus comes in the unity story. He got it. He knew the difference between personality and individuality. He learned how to express from his individuality. He is an expression of the Christ, and he's here to show us how to do it. The things I do, you shall do also, even greater things. Follow me, follow me, follow me. Many, many times we heard him say that. So in his case, he started out listening to the voice within. He knew how to get there. A lot of time in meditation. We'll talk about that in a few weeks. But his process was to check in with that higher voice within himself and let it come through. So that's why on more than one occasion, you will see his words say, you've heard it say to do this, but I'm telling you to do this. This is the way that we see the world living, and we're used to doing it, but I'm telling you, wake up, smell the coffee. This is a different way of living life. So he was able to tap into that higher voice within himself and show us how to do it. He also was an expert at giving himself away, that whenever there was a need, he was able to supply it. And he knew how to stand in his power, stand in the power, express that power. So that coming from this concept of everything is possible with God, everything was possible for him. And he was showing us how to do it. He was standing in that power to create, so that just when we thought there was a shortage, he would say, no, there is not. All things, all good comes from God. Just don't judge by appearance, he would say. Stop using your eyes and what you're hearing people say as truth and reality, and instead listen to that voice within. That still small voice that knows the answer. You look at her, you judge by appearance, you say she's dead. I'm telling you, she's only sleeping. Get up, and she gets up. Think you can do that? Okay, just so you know, that's the ideal. That's the divine idea of expressing from our Christ nature. So you got something to shoot for, right? Okay, so let me go through a few typical daily issues that come up for us, and then how do we apply metaphysics for this? And we're going to start with, how many of you here have ever had to make a decision in your life? Yes, no, left, right, or perhaps you're facing some kind of challenge and you don't know what to do, you're looking for that solution. Can anyone relate to that? We typically say, I don't know. I'm asking you to think back on that quality of God as intelligence. The mind of God, start there. We can't use that excuse, I don't know anymore, if we're truly plugged into the mind of God within us. Apply that metaphysics, apply that divine wisdom as inherent in my being, and I'm going to sit here and listen. Instead of saying, I'm in the dark about this, remember, God is light. There's another way that we describe the presence, where there is no darkness. Well, guess what? You and I are expressions of that presence. So we are light. We have access to whatever it is the mind of God knows. And we're talking about opening up to those divine ideas, being willing for them to flow into our conscious awareness. Instead of saying, I didn't get enough education, we say, well, the mind of God knows everything, and my mind is in God's mind, so I have access to that information. So now I just need to open up my consciousness and let it through. Jesus said, ask and it's given. Seek and you'll find. Knock and the door will be open to you. He wasn't kidding about that, because you're connected to the divine mind. You know what is so cool? If you can imagine yourself in 3 levels of consciousness, consciousness, subconsciousness, the Christ consciousness, that spreads out throughout the universe and beyond, you are just a whisper away most of the time to that full Christ consciousness. It's just on the other side of your subconscious veil. So close. And there's a pattern, a mechanism, organization in your being. There's a word for it that's not coming, but it will come because I'm connected to divine mind. So think of it as the method to get from subconscious to superconscious is available in us. We just have to trust that it's there and give way to it, get quiet, and expect it to come. This is what we do. We train the subconscious to open up. See, here's what's happening. Wish I had a marker board. Okay, so imagine that since 95% of what we do is coming out of the subconscious, in any given moment when you need an answer to things, we turn to the subconscious and let it tell us what to do, but it's telling us to do the same dumb things we've been doing all of our life. So at that point, if we can just get the subconscious, instead of going back to all the things we've done in the past, if we could just get it to stop and listen to the higher self, and we keep reminding it to do that over and over again, sooner or later, we will start hearing what the higher self says. And so one of our affirmations to help us apply metaphysics up here on the screen is, whatever I need to know is revealed. Let's say that. Whatever I need to know is revealed. Yeah, that's what you teach your subconscious. If there's nothing else that you do when you go to bed at night, you just say, subconscious, only take instruction from my higher self. Wake up in the morning, subconscious, only take instruction from my higher self. Okay? So that's how we get to answers. How about when our finances are running low? Anybody ever had that problem? Ever? Okay. A lot of times we respond with worry. We start to picture in our mind all the negatives that could happen when we run out. We've already planned on running out. We can feel the scariness of that. We get obsessed with watching the stock market because that's where our retirement money has been invested. And oh wait, I forgot to invest my money. I don't have any retirement. There's another worry. Okay, can't find work. Can't find a way to pay your bills. That's another worry. So what do you think the word is that addresses this need? Substance. Thank you. You get up here and teach with me. Thank you for that. Substance. Okay, go back to the beginning of my message where I talked about substance. It's in there. That spiritual energy everywhere present, the invisible stuff that becomes things. We plant the idea into it, and it begins to sprout. So instead of saying, okay, I only have $1,100 in my savings account and I don't have a job, and started figuring out what I can buy with $1,100 and then what I will do when I run out. No, you skip over to that unified field of spiritual substance everywhere present that's just vibrating there in the invisible realm, and you're just saying, hey, what do I want to plant in that invisible field? Wow, I combine my words. All right, so what do you want to plant? Maybe it's just money for my rent this month, okay? How much is it? It's this amount, okay. So you just see it like a seed going into that invisible substance, and you see it putting down roots, and you see it starting to sprout up, and you see it coming out through the earth, and it's starting to wave its leaves. It's got a stalk on it, and here comes a little bud, and next thing you know, it's blooming in full force, and you're out there picking flowers. That is how we apply metaphysics. We imagine in our consciousness what we want to plant into that realm of infinite, unlimited, everywhere present substance. You'll never run out until it forms into that which you need. So get some imagination going and recognize, okay, the substance that I need is present. What do I want to create from that? You think you can do that? Here's an affirmation that'll help your subconscious remember that you've got it available to you up here on the screen. Together. Whatever I need comes to me from the fullness of infinite substance. Okay, next problem is your body's lacking strength. Might be an illness, might be age, might just be overworked, overtired kind of thing. So what do you think the word is? Power. What's another word in the body itself? Life. Those are your two metaphysical terms that you want to hold on to. Those are the realities of your being. That even in the midst of the illness is the allness of life. So we're not going to deny that the body is feeling weak, but we're going to put our attention on the life of God. We're going to put our attention on the power of God. We're going to allow, typically when we're feeling less than physically, we're also thinking we're separate from God. So the first thing we want to do is get our consciousness focused on the presence of life in the body. That eternal life is always available to us. So we wait upon the Lord with an expectation of life to renew. I shall wait upon the Lord to renew my strength. I shall rise up on wings of eagles. I shall run and not be weary. I shall walk and not be faint. Teach me, Lord, to wait. Anybody know that old hymn? Comes straight out of Scripture. Wait. Look for it. Expect it. Go into some meditation time where your eyes are closed and you're seeing your body and you're imagining every cell in your body filled with light. And it's getting brighter and brighter, and your energy is starting to build. You're seeing a party going on in your cells. They're all like high-fiving each other. They're dancing. They're feeling good. Your imagination is a force, and you're grabbing hold of that power and that life of God, and you're directing it with your thought and your acceptance and your words. Let's speak these words together. Divine love works for... Oh, wait, where am I? I'm getting ahead of myself. All right, the next one is, I am renewed through the flow of eternal life. Feel that word life. Okay, guess what the next one is? Gave it away. Okay, well, when do we use this? When somebody is pushing your buttons and you're on your last nerve. This is when you haul out the metaphysical power, quality, expression of God as divine love. Usually when they're pushing your button, the personality comes out and it gets defensive, right? It wants to fight. It wants to protect. What's its fear? What's the fear of the personality? When somebody is pushing your buttons. Take away your good. They're going to take away your good. I would defy you to come up with any other reason why we get upset with somebody. If you got another reason, see me after, and I'll put it in my next message, I swear. But for now, I'm going to guess that the really core, bottom reason why we get upset with anybody is because whatever it is they're doing or saying, we think is going to keep us from our good, or keep a loved one's good away from them, or to take good from us. Can you feel that? Okay, so guess what? Who's the source of your good? God, not them. That's a metaphysical principle that we want to go back to. God is our source of good. God is absolute, everywhere present, good and love and power and provision, life. So why are we looking at them as if they have anything to do with our good? Why do we care what they say? Why do we fight back or run or roll over and let them walk all over us? We just like, whatever, and we go on. We turn in consciousness to that presence of love. Because not only is the force of love the magnet that attracts your good to you, when you are holding love in your being so you can feel the power, you're actually attracting good to you. So that's going to solve your problem right there. But if you can also hold a consciousness of good for them, it's got the power to lay that negative attitude of theirs flat and certainly not have any power over you. The only time that person who's pushing our button can actually push it till we go like this is because you think when they push a button, you can go like this. Did you follow that? Okay. Because you believe that someone else has the power to hurt you, you will be hurt. Or you can whatever and go over here to love, which is a force that's always working. It's like, how can I help you? How can I give you what you need? I love you. I want your best for you. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want. That's what love is doing. I swear, just like my beagles. So we just need to get there in consciousness and apply that metaphysics, divine love. Let's speak this word up here on the screen. Divine love works for good when love works through me. Through choice, right? Okay. Now do you understand what metaphysics is and applied metaphysics is? There'll be a test. Really, life is your test. That's why you come here, to learn how to handle the test, so that ultimately when Jesus said, in this world there will be tribulation, but take heart, take courage, because I have overcome the world. The I in you is the I in him. Nothing touches that presence of God within you. You are an expression of that presence. So that's the individuality we want to move into and lay the personalities aside. This takes work. This takes practice. This takes renewing the mind. This takes training the subconscious. The question is, how bad do you want to change? How badly? Whatever. Let's take it into meditation, see how we can do this. Apply these metaphysics. Oh my goodness. It will probably help you if you close your eyes. Make sure that your phone is turned off. Be fully present. We're going to set aside yesterday. And we're going to set aside tomorrow. Give ourselves permission to just be right here, right now. I feel my feet on the floor. My hands are open and relaxed. I almost feel a hum of energy in my body. And in my mind's eye, I can see that the power or the force that is the source of that hum in my body is the source of God power, of God life. Picture that energy vibrating in my body as light. And even if there's a form of stress in my body somewhere, I'm going to go there in my mind's eye. I'm going to see light. I see that light as the animating force of life, and I see it as the eternal expression of God that cannot be diminished. It's getting brighter and brighter. And its only goal is to express the goodness of God. An absolute good that cannot be deteriorated, that cannot be reduced. That light is alive in every cell of my body. Joined with the divine intelligence of the one mind that knows the perfect pattern. Knows the perfect responsibility of each cell, guiding them right now to their natural state of well-being. I see myself walking out this door today with a sense of energy and enthusiasm for life. Guided by that divine intelligence. As I sit in the silence, I can ask my question and know my answer. Be still and know that I am God. Is there a question right now that I have for that mind of God? Before I ask, I remember I'm in the presence of love. That power of love in me is working for my good. That power of love through me is seeing good in others. So I begin my questioning with love. Take a moment to think of someone you love, something that you appreciate in your life. I feel the warmth in my heart. That presence of love filling me from head to toe. And in this presence, I ask my question, even if it's, what do I need to know right now? I ask it not out of worry or anxiety or depression, but out of love, an expectation that love is responding. What do I need to know right now? Love draws to me all that is good. It draws forth the answers that I seek. And through this power of love, I choose to look at whatever's going on in my life right now, trusting that there is good in it, for there is God in it. It may look like limitation to my eyes, but I remember the divine substance is also present. My one source of good that never runs out, that's always with me. Through the divine intelligence brought to me through the power of love, I'm drawn and guided to ways to use this infinite substance to form and fashion this invisible energy in the good, not only for my own life, but for all lives. There is enough, for God's good never ends. This power, this love, this substance, this intelligence, this life is present in me here and now and always. I am an expression of the divine, and all of God's good lives and breathes through me, for I live in God and move and have my being in the allness of good. I can relax now. Everything I need is provided. all that I need to know is revealed. I am the loving life of God expressing. This is the truth of my being, the absolute nature of my reality. And now I allow it to be. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Amen. So we talked about a lot of things. Wow, I talked a really long time. Sorry. Forgive me for that. But thank you for listening. And we can always come back to unityinnaperville.org and listen to the recordings if you'd like. I'm happy to answer questions afterwards if you want to see me in the front room. I'm going to bilocate. Did you know that God can be everywhere present? So I'm going to try that today. See how that works. Got a few things to do. But let's move on for now. This is the time in our service where we share from the invisible substance and turn it into that which is visible with our tithes and our love offerings. Just another way to express the love of God by contributing toward the good of our community. If you're watching online and you want to be part of this, which we really encourage you to do because you're as much a part of our community as those sitting in this room, you can do it online at unityinnaperville.org. There's a donate button on our Facebook page, or if you'd like to mail a check to our P.O. Box 9733 in Naperville, the zip is 60567. And we want to bless what we give because that divine love that we send it out with just allows it to multiply. Hey, let's speak a blessing like that up here on the screen. Together, I feel like I'm really wired today. Can you tell that? And I haven't had any, I don't think I've had caffeine. All right, together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. Thank you. Ushers, will you come?
So grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Good morning. I'm Beth, and I'm here to give you your announcements today. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We're glad you're here. Be sure to pick up a welcome packet from the table by the front door. If you want to learn more about what's happening at Unity, sign up for our weekly e-news or for Kitty's New Thoughts email, our homepage at unityinnaperville.org. You can email, you also email admin at unityinnaperville.org. And now for what's happening at Unity. If you'd like to help clean our entryway windows after the service, please meet Rev Kitty in the front room. Join us today after the service for lunch at the patio. We do this at the end of every month. Patio is located outside Fox Valley Mall. If you're part of our online community, come back, come make new friends, and hang out with Rev Kitty with backroom banter starting 10 minutes after the service. Access the Zoom link on our website events calendar. Monday morning Metaphysics meets tomorrow on Memorial Day, online at 10:30. The group is reading Your Invisible Power by Genevieve Barrand. Each week is a standalone, so you can drop in anytime. Join us at Unity Friday, June 2nd at 7 p.m. for Finders Seekers Game Night. Work with your Unity peeps to decode clues and decipher a message to solve the mystery. Bring your wits, creativity, and snacks to share. Questions, email admin@unityandnaperville.org. The Grief Support Group meets next Monday, June 5th at 7 p.m. Registration is now open for From Conflict to Considerate Communication on Tuesday, June 6th at 7 p.m. Join Rev Kitty online for this initial study of Marshall Rosenberg's nonviolent communication. We'll use videos, case studies, and practical exercises to help us turn potential conflict into considerate communication while supporting the needs of everyone involved. Sign up at the info table or register online to receive the Zoom link and handouts, a love offering of $10 to $20. Prayer chaplains are available to pray with you by phone or in the prayer room after the service. Email your name and phone number to prayer@unityandnaperville.org, and a prayer chaplain will call you by 1 p.m. today. For details on all our events, go to unityandnaperville.org or email admin@unityandnaperville.org. Oh, and if you are a June birthday baby, you can send your picture and your date of the month that you were born to admin@unityandnaperville.org, and we will sing to you at the first service in June.
Well, I invite you to stand as you're able for our closing song. And isn't this applied metaphysics? Right there, right? Let's sing together. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. Yes, I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing love today. Let's choose peace. I'm choosing peace today. I'm choosing peace today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing peace today. I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing I'm choosing heaven today.
Is it on? I swear, I did not do anything to make that happen. Love you guys. Let's speak our closing affirmation together. Did you love this picture? That's applied metaphysics, life, beauty, love. All right, together. The only power working in my life is the goodness of God. I'm going to ask you if you just go find somebody in this room that you can't remember their name. Just say I'm sorry, either haven't met you or I can't remember your name, but I want to meet you now. Have a good chat. Come out front, have something to eat, clean a window before you go. If you're watching online, I'll meet you there in about 10 minutes. Love you guys. Have a great week.
Well, up and down, spinning around, seems things are changing almost every day. Up and down, spinning around, but I found balance, I found my way, centered in the peace of God, centered in the peace. Let me hear you online, come on. Oh, up and down, spinning around, seems things are changing almost every day. Up and down, spinning around, but I found balance, I found my way, centered in the peace of God, centered in the peace of God. There's clarity. There is clarity. There is wisdom. There is abundant grace, centered in the peace of God, centered in the peace of God. Here we go, up and down, spinning around. Seems things are changing almost every day. Up and down, spinning around, but I found balance, I found my way, centered in the peace of God. Yes, you are. Centered in the peace of God. There is clarity. There is clarity. There is wisdom. Oh, there is abundant grace. Centered in the peace of God. Yeah, centered in the peace of God. There is clarity. There is wisdom. Oh, there is abundant grace. Centered in the peace of God. Thanks for joining us today. Centered in the peace of God. May you be at peace. Centered in the peace of God. And have a wonderful Memorial Day.